Hello, everybody. I hope we've had a great week so far, and welcome to tonight's Sunday night frequency meditation. Tonight, we're going to go into the mirror in the well-being, healing, therapy circle. A mirror is referred to quite a few times in different contexts. But tonight we're going to be doing something from the space-time method. We're going to go into the Mirror of Magnificence. So tonight we open a new space together. And it's one that's going to feel very deeply familiar, yet also at the same time quietly vast. It's as though we're going to be stepping into a place where there's no urgency, no expectation, only the presence of your own signal meeting you without effort. And in the space, you come back to what is most natural: a steady breath, a grounded spine, and a field that welcomes you home. So each moment here feels like an invitation to stand more clearly in your own frequency, to recognize that nothing outside needs to be chased or gathered. Instead, with this transmission, we'll bring in that awareness that there is a soft intelligence guiding you to see all the brilliance you have admired in others, and that admiration of others is a quiet echo of your own design, patiently waiting for you to recognize it within. So let's just take a breath in right now, just noticing where you are. Look around, look at an object. Notice that object is in a space outside of your body. It's in another space, another environment. And then come into your breath and just notice your breath as you inhale, filling up your lungs. Exhaling, feeling that breath leave you. You in your body, that's another space to be in. That's your space. That's what you have full authority over. And in fact, you have full authority on these other spaces outside of you. But it just takes a little bit of being on this path to fully realize how you can alter the realities around you. So as you stay here, the breath moves in and out without force. Each cycle revealing the simplicity of life moving through you. And there's no need to shape it or analyze it. You can sense. Perhaps, if you look at how every external glow you have noticed, in a person's ease, in their creativity, in their boldness perhaps, it's always been a mirror, inviting you to remember what is already alive within. A breath in. And when you start to, as we are bringing in this awareness, when you start to see others as reflections rather than objects to attain, there's a softness that emerges in your field. A gentle allowance for your own potential to stand up and take form. The spine offers its calm vertically, not to restrict, but to support a fluid uprightness that feels both free and deeply centered within. And this isn't a rigid posture, it's a living reminder of your capacity to remain clear in the middle of any environment. And what we're doing here right now, for those of you new with my work, yes, the words that I'm saying, it might hold some interest, hopefully. And even perhaps during this frequency meditation transmission, you might get some aha moments. But if you recall, in the past, whether it's in other meditations, modalities, leaders, we get these revelations, they don't stick. They don't stay. They don't move the needle, how I refer to it. So what we're doing here as well, besides getting some information, is we're shifting you at a frequency level in space and time. And if that doesn't make sense, no problem. If you go to the app, there's many meditations there, complementary meditations, to show you the mechanics of how I work and what I can tune into. So you may recall those moments when a person's joy or presence stirred something subtle inside you, perhaps a quick spark that suggested there was more available to you than you had realized. And rather than interpreting that as something to pursue externally, you recognize, in fact, it's actually an internal doorway, an invitation to explore a new corridor of your own being. And as we breathe, and each breath, this realization deepens. Just noticing where you are right now, within your body, coming into the brain area, and in the center of the brain, if you just observe, notice that left side of the brain, analytical side, the right side, the creative side, how they merge perfectly together. Center, that's where we stay. Your mind wanders off, just come back to the middle of your sphere. It's from here we receive the awareness. I'm not giving it to you. What I'm doing is I'm just opening up the communication channels between you and your timeless self. And that's where you receive knowledge within, directly from your timeless self. But once you have that, anything you listen to, whether it's this meditation, the content, you can disregard it because you have a much pure definition when it comes from within. So as we take another deep breath in, this time let's take that breath in from the core of the earth. So where these are frequencies that we have access to, they're in the same density as us. These pure frequencies that are in perfect alignment, coherent. And just breathe these frequencies right up through your spine, from the core of the earth, going right up through your spine, noticing them fill your whole body. And then just coming to that sphere, the middle of your brain. Just stay here as you exhale. So as we start to receive, and all the things that we are pursuing, whether it's relationships, or exiting relationships, or more money, job possibilities, better health, where we can live, all the externals out there that make up our life, you start to see that life has never been about collecting collecting external affirmations or merging with another's light or being envious of what other people have. But it's always been about acknowledging that you are the source of every brilliance you admire. You hold these qualities already, and it's just waiting to be integrated and expressed through your actions, your words, your daily presence. But how do we connect with that version, or how do we connect with our mind? So it's effortless. It's natural. It's who we are. It's not a performance. We're not creating a persona like so many people do in the spiritual sector. How do we do that? Well, this is how we do it. To receive the awareness within. So as we take another breath in, and from our sphere, start to expand out, arm's length around you, above you, below you, in front of you, behind you, side to side. That's called your field, your frequency field, where all your programs, if you like, they're your pre-programs, it's before we come into density, it's before anything is created. If you like, these are our induction frequencies, that's where they all reside. That field is incredibly dynamic, just like you are. Nothing is set in stone, just like you are. There is no destiny, by the way. There are probabilities, and that's what psychics can do, is they can look at all the probabilities. They see it in their field, the probabilities, all the different possibilities, and then they bring forth what has the highest probabilities. But that's not destiny. Destiny can be changed at any time, like you can change yourself at any time, and the world around you will change. So just notice this field right now around you. For those who have never tapped into your frequency field, just spend time here. You can even pause this right now if you're listening to a recording. And really spend time in your field just starting to notice the details of it. What's in your field? How dense is it? What are the colors, the textures? Just get a general feel so you get familiar that this is your frequency field. And as we take another deep breath in from the core of the earth, right up the spine, to our sphere, and then from here, expand out into the field, we just take a glance and say, oh, is there anything else that perhaps pops out from this field that makes me up? Perhaps you might find there are abuse programs there, or non-deserving programs, or playing the imposter. Perhaps you see the brilliance that is there. You see all the different programs you have that contribute to the brilliance you are. And yet, even with that, as we do live in a realm of polarity, with all that brilliance, there might be a self-sabotage program just sprinkled across everything else, just bringing that down, all that brilliance. And then our own self-destructing. So let's take another breath in. And just notice the edges around your field. You are your frequency field, and then we come to the very edge of it. It's quite a distinct cutoff. Everything outside of your field is the world around you. other people's worlds, other environments that are not yours. And this is where humans have the most difficult time. This is where anxiety, ADHD, depression, just general decay of the human being, spiritually, emotionally, physically. It's because people are not well defined within their sphere. They're not well defined within their frequency field. And they bleed out into other people's realities, and they take all that stuff and bring it in. Another word for that is an empath, or not a very efficient empath. So notice that edge around your field, going out into, there's another environment. And perhaps even in this short time together, for those who have spent time in their field, already have noticed the details. Perhaps the edges between what is you and what is out there, that other environment, gently dissolves a bit. It doesn't mean that losing your sense of self or not being very well defined. It means reclaiming parts of your expression that you once projected outwards. It's good to look at another person and just appreciate the beauty they are. Without then reflecting back at ourselves, how all that beauty is out there, but we're less than within us. Another breath in. So this journey is not about rush or force. The work we do here, the studies we do here, is not work, it's studies. We're finally learning, we're finally remembering who we truly are. Those filters, just by us doing this meditation, this transmission, shifting you into a more optimal position, a more precise position with your higher self, starts to let you see the truth. That gradual welcoming and unfolding that happens with quiet precision. And unlike many other practices out there, or meditations, or be in the moment, be mindful, masterminds, so much narrative now out there. It's in my experience, in my observations, that's all I can ever pass on. So I'm not saying I speak for the world or the universe, but in my experience and from what I have access to, it's pretty well all distorted. Sorry. But that's also why people are not getting the results. As we take a breath in. And so what I've been it's come to me, bring in to this density from a different realm, much clearer realm, outside of this mass consciousness, so it's not influenced by any control mechanisms. That there is a way to create yourself here in density, yet from the perspective of this other realm. And by the way, just something on the side, not all realms out there are compatible with this human experience here. So for those of you who are, if you like, call it advanced, who are explorers, I strongly urge to make sure you have the foundation right first before you go explore. It's where people get messed up. It's where these great inventors like Nikola Tesla, Einstein, they all went to similar realms, maybe not the same realm I'm in. There's infinite realms, by the way. But that's where they went to get that knowledge, but they couldn't come back properly because they didn't have any foundation. Taking a breath in, again from the core of the earth, bringing these frequencies right up through your spine to your sphere, you, centered in your sphere. This is your command center. This is your home. From here, expand out and just observe what's in your frequency field again. Start getting comfortable with it. Familiar. So I received what I called the movement from the space-time method. These are all labels. They're branding, for lack of a better activity, to package it for the message. Don't get hung up on the names, the labels. They're just labels. Anytime we label something, we limit it. That's why I don't use the word God. Way too many ill definitions. But I was shown the architecture on how to be coherent, how to be grounded, how to be in that foundation before you go explore. So we use our spine, we use our breath, we use a sphere, we use a frequency field. And again, on the app, there are complementary meditations specifically just for the movement. But your spine stands as a silent witness. Now you start to trust your breath and how it flows. And you start to receive. You don't go out there and try and figure it out. You receive the awareness. And you start to sense the multi-dimensional layers of your own potential weaving together. It's all about being centered here in our body, fully empowered, embodied. And we go visit, pulse to these other realms. Once you get pretty savvy at it, if you like, at any time you can go to these realms, look around, see what you need. Everything is in real time as well, and then come back into this density with that knowledge. But again, it's always in real time. There's no future. There's no graduating so we can rest on our laurels. Everything is in real time. And when we're in this state, relationships transform. Instead of seeking completion through another, each encounter becomes a gentle reminder of what's possible within your own design. You're released. You're no longer held tight to admiration or longing. You simply see these feelings as signals pointing you back to your own coherence, your own stable foundation. This changes how you move through the world, how you speak, how you meet every interaction. And noticing your field right now, letting it sink in what your higher self just received. Another misunderstanding is people think their higher self is perfect. Your higher self, timeless self, spirit, whatever you want to call it, light bulb, really doesn't matter, label. Your higher self is on a journey as well with you. How you evolve here helps your higher self evolve. And really, what I've been shown, we're here to master density. We're here to experience this reality in physical form, limitation, in a time capsule, but through the perspective of our limitless self. So by doing the movement, by keeping centered, we start to, again, we receive. We receive on how to merge the two, how to stay merged. And also what's really fun, you start to get the codes on how realities are created, how you are created. Your place in it. The co-creator you are. As we take another beautiful breath in right now, maybe notice there's a new softness in your field. Maybe there's a little bit of excitement that's starting to peek out, a readiness to meet life without defense or projection. Those stories and identities that once kept you locked in certain patterns, they start to begin to lose their hold. Instead of focusing always on the flaws of your life, the flaws on you, it's replaced by a steady curiosity about what else might be possible. You'll start to notice that in the presence of someone who once felt intimidating or overwhelmingly bright, beautiful, whatever it might be, there's now a calm sense of equality. You see their glow. You get inspired by their glow. You honor it, but more as evidence of your own capacity. A living proof that what draws you in is already part of your inner architecture. The fact that you paid attention to it, it's already in your field. And what this realization does, it allows you to step forward in new ways, not with arrogance, but with the grounded humility that comes from true self-recognition. The one thing that I can say that I've experienced, and again, everything I do here is I just give you the raw, unedited experience, what I receive, what's happened to me, the process, see how efficient I can make it for others. But when you're really tuned into this coherence, it's such an empowering space. That's really an understatement. No, really, there's such an authority that comes through of knowing. And it's not arrogance. It's not being disillusioned. There's this truth with such precision and authority, but it's all wrapped in humility. That's how I know I'm receiving. It's not the mind creating. As we take another breath in. So now, you realize that every external brilliance you have chased, coveted, was an attempt to touch something within yourself that you have not yet given permission to emerge. And it's not about fault. You haven't got it wrong. It's a filter. When you release, or when some filters are released from you, especially the big ones, that's when you really understand the power of a filter, a program, a blind spot, whatever you want to refer to. That's when you really understand there is no way this mind can try and figure it out, heal it, complete it. So as these start leaving you, you start to understand that instead of running outwards, you sit with it, breathe with it, and allow it to unfold in its own timing. This is hardly anything but passive. It's an active participation in the subtle dance of self-revelation. We're so programmed from the very first phase of our life to do, to constantly be doing. And anything that remotely suggests just being with no external activity comes crashing down on us. Like something that's an awful thing to do. It's actually the most efficient thing you can do if you want to awaken. So as we notice our body, noticing our spine, all 33 vertebrae, you in your spine in your body, you'll start to see that the movements of your life begin to take on a different quality. There's less striving and more natural expression. You find yourself making choices from a place of internal alignment rather than reactive desire. In conversations, you hear yourself speaking with more coherence, less caught in the need to be understood or validated. You let things go without explaining it or needing to be explained. Your gestures, your steps, your pauses all carry a different frequency now. One that transmits rather than demands. And you no longer seek to fix the reflections you see in others. How many people do that all day long? Constantly wanting to fix other people's realities they've created. Just because they don't maybe are in agreement with the reality that we're creating. So we get to stop looking at people and always having that critical eye of what's wrong with them. Instead, you thank them silently for showing you parts of yourself that are now ready to be lived more fully. This quiet thankfulness transforms every interaction into a shared field of possibilities. Just imagine if we had that as humankind. If instead of looking at our differences, judging it, we looked at our differences and the ones that we could see because we weren't so ingrained in the drama. We had an objective perspective. We could see the things that were not for the best for our brothers or sisters. And instead of judging, we helped them. And without judgment, so they felt safe, open, vulnerable to receive. It's not how it works in the world we're in. And so those people who have those differences, say some of the more apparent differences in society today, they have to react with violence, hostility, separateness. They have to invest in their distortions. They have to protect something that in fact robbing them from their brilliance. Imagine a world where we all had that perception We're there to help each other, to be the blind eye for the others. Those filters that you can't see within. Since we feel safe, we trust. We receive the help. Let's take another breath in right now. It's going to be a bit of a long meditation because we're getting deeper and deeper into it. And in this state, the sense of separation between your internal signal and the external world becomes more fluid. There's no need anymore to hold tightly to old definitions of self or stories of lack. Instead, you start to move as a living presence that naturally reveals what it needs to reveal, receives what it needs to receive, and transmits what it meant to transmit. So the breath remains a loyal guide, making each moment with gentle continuity. The spine, tune into the spine frequently. It offers an unwavering reference point. If you like, it's a vertical access that reminds you of your capacity to remain present no matter what waves arise around you. And that's true empowerment, not money, not relationships, not fame, not winning an award, a Nobel Prize. Those are all externals. True empowerment is you are like that candle wick in a storm. It does not move. And whatever happens, it's kind of, that's quite deep. Whatever happens, sorry, I just get a lot of things coming in at once. And so it's like I'm constantly trying. I'm putting them in order, classifying them, saying, no, we're not going to go into that. Another breath in. I need to take a breath in. I don't know what I was saying now. So you become that strength. And no matter what happens in the outside world, you're good. No longer do you react, you respond. And what got me off there was that the paradox of that is that once you are in that position, there's nothing in the outside world that happens to you without your permission. Because you are the creator. And once you have that realization, that deep knowing within, that in fact, you are the creator, you are not the architect any longer. Because you actually become the sculpture itself. And you start to transform as the sculpture. So you're not the architecture sculpting something. You're it. You're the whole thing. And when that realization comes, that's when you truly understand what manifesting means here in this density. So as we take another breath in, you start to sense that this way of being is not something to be achieved. It's actually, which is what we're doing right now in this transmission, and it will come across through over the next several days, that it's something to be remembered and embodied step by step. So our life is no longer an achievement. We're no longer always having to do. We start to come into a singular timeline. and we just be. And again, that passivity is full strength, is full empowerment, is understanding the codes. So as you continue to move through this evening, there's going to be a quiet trust building inside you. You'll start to realize that you no longer wonder whether you're enough or whether you're missing something crucial. That glow that you once saw as separate is now felt as an inner warmth. It's like a gentle certainty that can't be taken away by circumstances, certainly can't be taken away by other people's opinions. So using your breath, letting each inhale bring you deeper into this truth. Each exhale shares it subtly into the field around you. You begin to understand that the real magnetism you admired in others was simply their willingness to stand in their own coherence without apologizing. And what's awesome is that you realize that you can do the same. Not by imitation, but by returning to your own natural state. And that's what the movement guarantees you at all times. So there's no more guesswork. We're not having to participate in other dogmas, doctrines, religions. We're not hoping that maybe God will just throw us a crumble of mercy, but chances are, because we've sinned, He won't. That story is shown to us for what it is. And this gentle unfolding, it starts to begin to affect how you imagine your future. Instead of picturing scenarios where external achievements define your worth, you start to see possibilities where each moment becomes an expression of your inherent fullness. Whether you're alone or with others, whether you're seen or unseen, your signal, another word for signal is your pure blueprint. You, before coming into density, everything all at once. That signal remains steady. And again, this steadiness does not mean stillness or passivity, being passive. It's active. It's a living frequency that shapes reality around it without effort. So the conversations you enter, the spaces you move through, and the people you encounter all begin to feel different because your presence offers them a clear mirror, free from projection or need. We pick up. Our spine also is a transmitter or receiver. We pick up other people's frequencies. No words are needed. No actions are needed. That's what, in fact, we pick up. Way more than what people say or do. So people start feeling comfortable around you. You're not looking for them for anything. There's no other objective. There's no inferiority or superiority. So from here, that idea of longing begins to dissolve. Just focus on your spine, being in this moment right now. What was once felt as a restless desire, it now transforms into a quiet invitation to embody even more of yourself. Every attraction to an external glow is going to start to become a question for you. Where is this within me, ready to be expressed? Each time you sense this, you have an opportunity to pause, breathe, and again choose coherence over chasing. The old structures of needing approval or external markers of success start to soften, replaced by a more simple, calm knowing that you're already carrying everything you need. Such a release. You become less interested in who sees you, and more interested in how clearly you're living from your own signal. I know for myself, I seeked outside of myself for masculine frequencies. But very distorted. I lived a very distorted life. And it was only until, like what this transmission is about, and by the way, a lot, what I'm saying now, again, just for a reminder, it's really speaking to your higher self. Saying, remember, this is who we really are. And that gives spark. That sparks the change within you. And so for myself, I was always seeking outside for masculine frequencies. And we won't go into the very, very long lifetimes of how that came about. But it was only until I did this and I was shown this process. Was it then disclosed to me that what I'm seeking outwards is there's an abundance of it within. And I found it. Being free from that one distortion freed me up of so many other underlying distortions. As we breathe in, so notice in your field if there's a gentle excitement about what comes next. And again, it's not because you're lacking, but because you're overflowing. It's a key in manifesting. That was one of Jesus's greatest, well, he had so many abilities. His presence was a transmission. His presence awoke, just like what we're doing on a much smaller scale. His presence awoke that person to the degree, if you were blind, they could see, because internally they could see their brilliance. Now, whether that happened or not, I have no idea. What I do know, and I can only reference where we are right now, is that humans are not evolved enough to do that. We're not evolved enough to physically grow back an arm. We will be. But Jesus was incredibly evolved, so it suggests, since that is our trajectory, that is his great strength. And then, of course, the other great thing that Jesus brought to us, which I actually just did meditation on, is on death. He brought in that understanding. Few received it. Few were evolved enough to be able to receive it. That there is no death. That when the human body dies, it's just shifting into another dimension, reality, realm, consciousness. probably the greatest realization humans could have if they could have received that clarity. Really permits for you to just truly be in the moment, because the moment is infinite. So again, once you embody that, we embody it through our spine. We embody it, this clear, undistorted presence. You'll notice, you'll see it. Maybe we can close with a quiet agreement between you and your higher self to continue moving from this space, to keep returning whenever external noise tries to pull you off center. And it will. It's not that you're failing. It's not that you're not strong enough. You're not spiritual enough. It's none of that. It's density. It's the mass consciousness. It's heavy. It's been around a long time. We're breaking free. We're free from it. So don't get discouraged if, wow, I was in my home all weekend. It was amazing. I was like, I thought maybe I was a second coming. And then I went to Starbucks, and within 30 seconds, it all went crashing down. It's okay. Just observe the dynamics. Observe it. Come back to your sphere. Notice your spine. Tune into the core of the earth. Expand out into your frequency field. Just observe. You start to realize that no mirror outside can show you more than what you're willing to see inside. So each glow is an opportunity to expand, not to escape. Each reflection is an opening, it's not a verdict. And in this way, every day, every relationship, every creation becomes an echo of your internal coherence, made visible in form. You fusing with the timeless self, with a time-bound self. That expression, heaven on earth. You start to stand here as a living pulse, steady and bright. And of course, ready to meet life as it comes to you. And with that, I'll leave you here. You can stay in this space. You can listen to this again. You can listen to this without even having the volume up. It's the frequencies. And tonight's transmission was really a heads up to you and your timeless self. Hey, let's remember how this works here. And most importantly, let's get on with it. I know for myself, tick, tick, in this time capsule, is I've got a limited time here in this time capsule in this form as Rob. Let's make the best of it. Let's push the human envelope. Because we can. And with that, I'll see you all next week.